yet another edition of What's Happening Now with Laura. Tonight, my preamble is I'm going to try to make it brief because there are lots of things that I want to talk about and lots of things that peeved me this week. But I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible because we have some lovely guests in studio this evening and I want to give them maximum amount of time. But you know me, talking is my middle name. So here we go. So not so long ago, I think it was around the time of Eubaldus Raymond's second biggest scandal of the year, that persons in the media, reporters, young but seasoned reporters, or like that, so they like to think, said that one of our veteran reporters blundered because he had said that Eubaldus was going to resign. And so I think the title was Rick Blunders. But can our reporters, as it stands, really cast aspersions or point fingers at each other when they themselves, the young whippersnappers, as they're called sometimes in certain circles, continue to blunder themselves? So I came across this article in The Voice, and it says, officer charged for assault sent on leave. Soon as I read this, I got a call. So Laura, you mean to tell me the man beat up the man and they just sent him on leave and so on and so forth? And one big tirade, and I was like, whoa, slow down. So I got the impression that, remember this video of this SSU cop who was beating this guy somewhere in Viewfort? They had him subdued and in shackles, and he was still beating him with what they call the pakutla, while he was down on the ground. And that raised some real furor. So apparently, the cop in question, was sent on leave. But here is this article in The Voice, and the title is Officer Charged for Assault Sent on Leave. So I thought that the officer for assault had just been sent on leave. Come to find out that he had been sent on leave shortly after the incident. And the reason he was sent on leave, and that is vacation leave and not a leave of absence or administrative leave as it is called. And the reason why he was sent on leave is because the police force wanted to get him out of action. So they didn't want him around executing his duties while there was an active investigation going on. So was relayed to me. So he was sent on vacation because I think there was something like 30 days vacation or 50 days or however many days that he was due. So they sent him on vacation leave. While he was on vacation leave, an investigation ensued. And some of you might be wondering, and I know Rick made a huge fuss about it. Why was an investigation called? Because, the evidence is right there. Well, an investigation would need to be done because you need to know establish the veracity of the video, whether it was spliced together, what was going on. You needed to find the source, the origination of the video, whether the video was, the integrity of the video was intact and all of that. So it took the force 2 weeks. A senior official, from what I understand, conducted the investigation, and there was sufficient evidence, I guess, found that the officer in charge in question was culpable, and so he was charged. But listen to this. I'm going to read it. It's a short article, so I'll read it to you. And I got it online. It's from The Voice newspaper, Digital Voice. On Wednesday, July 10th, 2019, about 9:30 a.m., law enforcement officials received information in relation to an assault of a male with a cutlass in Viewfort by a uniformed police officer. Investigations were launched, and the officer in question was immediately sent on leave. But there are people who are thinking that the officer was sent on leave after he was charged. But no, he was sent immediately on vacation leave because there were days due to him, and the force wanted to ensure that he was not in a position to hamper or to affect the outcome of the investigation. So they sent him on leave. On Friday, July 26, 2019, Rayan Clarice, a police officer, was charged for the offense of assault in relation to the said incident. He was granted bail on his own recognizance for the charge of assault, contrary to Section 426 of the Criminal Code, and that is where the blunder really begins. contrary to Section 426 of the Criminal Code. And the reporter goes on to say Section 426 of the Criminal Code states assault on summary convictions. A person who unlawfully assaults any other person is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $1,000 or to imprisonment for 1 year. And I'll read that again. Assault on summary convictions, that's Section 426 of the Criminal Code, states a person who unlawfully assaults any other person is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $1,000 or to imprisonment for 1 year. So then, therefore, my reason for saying that the reporter, whomever wrote this article, blundered, I wonder if that person understands the meaning of the word contrary. So let me give you a couple of definitions of contrary. So contrary means opposite in nature, direction, or meaning. So if somebody says go left and you go right, then you have gone contrary to the directions that were given to you. You asked go left, you went right. Contrary. He ignored contrary advice and agreed on the deal. An example. And again, as I said, simple. You were advised to go left, you went right, you went contrary to the advice that was given to you. Another definition is perversely inclined to disagree or to do the opposite of what is expected or desired. So she is sulky and contrary where her work is concerned. So for instance, if you disagree with something that someone has said to you, you could say that you are contrary to whatever was said. So I ask the question. It begs the question, and if you don't have the question, I certainly have the question. Why was it contrary to charge the police officer, charge him, and let him go on bail of his own recognizance? What is contrary to that? Charge and conviction are two distinct and separate things. A person charged with a crime is by law innocent, even though there was an investigation and said investigation by the said investigator suggested or recommended suspension from active duty. A person charged with a crime is by law innocent. Being convicted of a crime means that the person has pled guilty or has been found guilty after a trial. A person convicted of a crime is by law guilty. Convicted, not charged. So you could be charged, taken to court, have this whole trial, and be found innocent and not guilty, in which case you would not be convicted of the charge. But if you are charged, it simply means that you have to answer to a charge. You have to answer to a crime or a supposition. But you are not yet convicted by a juror of your peers or whatever the case may be. Conviction and charge. So where is the contrary? He was bailed and let go on his own recognizance. Where is contrary coming in there? We have to learn to use our words correctly. If we aren't sure of the definition of a word, we must remember, especially as journalists, reporters, and the like, that persons are reading and understanding and are going to infer from what you wrote what is supposedly the truth. But if you're using words in a bad light, in a bad way, persons can't get to it. So you have just assumed that the officer in question is guilty and has already been convicted, whereas we are told by your own writing that he was only charged and not yet convicted. So we have to understand. So when we reporters are now pointing and casting aspersions at others, we have to bear in mind that we can make mistakes as well. I'm not saying that Rick had done and made any mistakes, but I'm just saying we have to be sure that the information that we are disseminating is correct. So charged is not the same as convicted. You could be charged with a crime, but you are still innocent in the eyes of the law until and unless you have been brought to trial and at trial been found guilty, at which case you will be convicted, and then $1,000 in this case or 1 year imprisonment would apply. So nothing contrary here has taken place. This is my first pet peeve. My second pet peeve for the week was the Virgin Atlantic situation. So, Virgin Atlantic, from what we understand, and I'm going to use a strong word, and it's going to be contrary to a lot of people, for a lot of people, but let's say try to extort from what the minister of tourism said. And that's my word. I'm not inferring that the minister used those words. I am saying, to my mind, based on the explanation that was given, extort $20 million from our government so that they can have a subsidy to fly into our country 3 days or 4 days, however many days that they're doing during the winter months, and 3 days in the summer months, whatever. And so the minister has said that this was contrary to what their principles, and they turned that down. There were other options offered, and they didn't feel that it benefited St. Lucia. So, he came out, I think it was on the 27th, and said to us, this is what it is. We won't have much time. Hopefully, maybe next week we can delve a little bit into it. We won't have time to play the video, the entire video, because it's about 5 minutes. And as I said, I have some guests in studio that I really want to give maximum time. But he went in detail to let us know why Virgin decided to pull out next year, July. And the crux of the matter is, from his perspective, from what he's told us, is that Virgin wanted $20 million in subsidy to continue flying into St. Lucia. The very next day, the leader of opposition is asking the country, is telling the country that the minister and the government owes St. Lucia an explanation as to why Virgin is pulling out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, does he not listen? Was this thing already prepared and he just read it anyway without regard to what the minister said? Are we getting true and proper representation from our opposition? Even though they're in opposition, they still represent a good chunk of our people. And without proper representation from our opposition, we can't have good governance. And I'm at pains to understand why successive opposition parties do not understand that. Your job is not to just create mayhem or to just ask questions or to negate anything and everything that the government does, or to just, your job is proper representation. You were there like a check and balance. So if the minister has already given an explanation and you're at pains to buy that, then do ask that. But don't ask the nation to ask the minister to tell us why. But he's already done so. He's told us that Virgin wanted 20. Now, honestly, in all fairness, Virgin's explanation for why they're pulling out is contrary, and I'm using the word deliberately so we can understand the meaning, right? And I think that's one of the ways we learn things. You learn a new word and you've got to use it constantly in context. So what Virgin said is contrary to what the minister said, and so we have a little disparity here. And so we're going to have to ask more questions, but we have to ask more pointed questions. We have to ask the right questions. What are the economic factors that Virgin cited as reasons for pulling out of St. Lucia, Grenada, and Tobago, by the way, not just St. Lucia, and to create a hub in Antigua rather than fly in directly to St. Lucia and Grenada and Tobago. So we have to understand that. Then there's another article that says St. Lucia loses Virgin to Antigua, but no. Virgin was already flying into Antigua, and as you can understand, if you understand a little bit of, you don't have to be some mega business entrepreneur or magnate to understand basic business principles. Sometimes a business has to stop and look at its operations and find out what is the best way to undergo or to continue business that will be most beneficial to the company and its shareholders, its stakeholders. And so maybe, I'm supposing, in this case, Virgin has decided that it is better to create a hub in Antigua or one of these countries. It could be Antigua, Grenada, Tobago, we don't know. Create a hub in one of these countries and then have other flights, connecting flights from there. The question that is to be asked, therefore, is why Antigua and not St. Lucia? And I'm asking myself, if we were chosen to be the hub to have flights coming into St. Lucia, and then you have to get connecting flights to Grenada, Antigua, Tobago, can our international airport, as it stands currently, able to withstand the magnitude and the increase in flights that Antigua is now getting? We have to ask ourselves all of these things. And I think it's incumbent upon the opposition to ask the proper questions. And it's also incumbent upon us as citizens to understand what is being told to us and ask the appropriate questions and not just bombard and start worrying, oh, we're losing and we have this airport coming up and we're already losing 7% of our business. Allow the minister some time, because this thing has come up. He said he's in talks with other airlines. I mean, I'm not saying go to bed for the next 2 years and wonder where we have a timeline. We know that Virgin is going to be pulling out by July of next year. So we know we have a year to ask the putting in questions and to allow some of that year for the Ministry of Tourism to figure itself out and to get back to us. We're not going to wait for 12 months because we don't have that. We only have maybe 2-3 months, by which time they should be coming back to us. And if they don't come back to us, then we go to them. But this constant yapping by opposition just to create some sort of furor, just to create some sort of mayhem and confusion, to my mind, does nobody any good. Nobody any good. So we have to understand, we have to be discerning, and we have to understand and really think about the contrary reports that we are getting. So that was my second pet peeve. I just knew it. From the time I heard Minister Dominic speak and said about Virgin, I said, this man is going to come and ask the question, why? And so said, so then the very next day, it was all over the news, why? The minister has to tell the nation why, but he said so the day before. Did you not listen? Or as soon as you heard the news, you would just had your speech writers write up something to come up to a press conference? I mean, seriously? It doesn't do any good. It doesn't make you look any better. It doesn't make you look good. It doesn't make your credibility and your integrity is at question right there and then. But anyway, that's for another show. So that was, as I said, that was my second peeve for the week. My third peeve was the gay rally that was supposed to have taken place. And from what I understand, I really did not delve too much into it. I understand that it was canceled, or that the LGBTQI association withdrew the application. Somebody came up to me and said to me, what do I think of the gay rally? And I said to them, what about it? And they said, these people, and as usual, our emotions took over. And I said to them, listen, as far as I know, from what I understand, the little that I understand in Constitution, same-sex sex in St. Lucia is illegal. So therefore, when the LGBTQIQ whatever, and it's every day, and I'm not being disparaging at all, and I am not being demeaning, and I'm not disparaging anybody or being derogatory. It seems every day a new letter is added to this acronym, and I can't keep it straight in my head. But let's just say the gay people, and I know the queers and the intergenders and all of the separate groupings that fall under the LGBTQI. They feel offended when you call them gay and all of that. I'm still very old school, and I still understand fully gender to be male and female. That's what I understand fully. I'm not saying I'm not tolerant of, or I'm not trying to understand. I'm just saying I fully understand male and female, and the rest is a little gray for me. It is same-sex sex in St. Lucia is still illegal. So to my mind, before asking permission for a rally, I think that the LGBTQ need to rev up their position on getting constitution reform first. So if you want to get permission for a rally, it needs to be legal, same sex. The police is not going to give you permission, to my mind, give you permission to rally, to parade, something that is illegal. That is what my understanding of it is. So there's always going to be this agitation because same-sex sex is illegal. Now, what people do in their bedrooms is that I have no problems with that. When I am with my partner and what I do in my bedroom, I don't expect anybody, any government or anybody to come in my bedroom and to dictate to me what I do in my bedroom. And a lot of the times, even what we call anal sex and all of that is not is not specific only to gays. I know, we all know that even in heterosexual relationships, anal sex and all of that kind of sex happens, it takes place. Now, I'm sorry if some parents find that a little bit odd, but just imagine when your 5-year-old is going to come to you pretty soon and tell you, Mommy, guess what we learned today in sex ed? We learned about same-sex sex, because this is where the world is going, and this is where all of this is going. It's heading towards that. As young as 5 in kindergarten, some people are agitating for that kind of education. And let me tell you something. My 5-year-old, I don't even want my 5-year-old to know about heterosexual sex, much less gay sex. I'm sorry. Call me old school, call me a prude if you want, but I don't think that is age-appropriate information to be had by a 5-year-old. Whether it is in my home, in the streets, or in the classroom, I don't think it's appropriate for that age group. So I will be one of those agitating against having that kind of sex education in schools until you get to a point where you fully understand what's happening with your body, and then we can delve into the world of sex, period. Not gay sex or heterosexual sex or any specific kind of sex, but sex and your body and what your body is going through. Okay? So that's my take on it. I don't understand what the big furor is about. We have a situation, gay sex is illegal. Let us deal with that. If we feel that it is unconstitutional, let us deal with that and then move on from there. But if it is that we are happy to have the Constitution as it stands, then obviously it's a done deal. It's a fait accompli. It's clear. We're not going there. Now, my take on it is, this thing with the LGBTQI community, they're asking for freedom to choose who they love, freedom to express themselves, freedom to have PDA and public displays of affection and all of that. And I'm asking myself, is it really freedom? Can true freedom and humanity be acquired through the mimicking of heterosexual lives? I mean, this is what the LGBTQI community is agitating for. They want to mimic heterosexual lives. So heterosexuals marry a male, marry a female, they have kids, they raise the kids and all of that, and they want those same. First of all, I don't believe in gay rights or all of those rights. I believe in human rights. So if you have two people who are in love and you are going to bash them and you are going to insult them and you are going to abuse them because of that love, that is wrong, and I will agitate for that. But to specify and say this is heterosexual rights and gay rights, I do not subscribe to that whatsoever. I subscribe to human rights. And if you're going to say to me, you are different from me because I am heterosexual and you're gay, you're a lesbian or you're a gay man or whatever, and so you're different from me, why do you want to mimic my lifestyle? Why don't you adopt your own lifestyle or live your life according to you, but you want everything that is heterosexual, but you want to be considered different and you want to have separate rights? That doesn't make sense to me. And so that is my pet peeve. Not so much a pet peeve, but just a sort of a conundrum type of a thing, Yeah. So that is my take on the trending things this past week, and what has really peeved me and what persons have really come to me and asked me about my opinion for. At this point, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Mass in the View contestants. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You'll get over heartache. You'll get over
Welcome back to
heartache.
Mission. Thank you for staying tuned to What's Happening Now with Laura. And it's all about Mass in the View and the lovely contestants at this weekend's Bellevue uh, Carnival Queen competition pageant. Yeah, I often say competition. It is a competition, isn't it? But we like to glamorize it and say pageantry. But anyway, with me right now on my couch is Miss Anita Felix, and she will be representing and talking to us about Mass in the View and the Carnival pageant. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's after a while you open up with all this agitation and all this energy, and then you have to kind of mellow it down, even though it's a exciting, glamorous thing that we're going to be talking about. But it takes a little while to settle your brain and get in with it. So, Anita, you're here to talk to us about the Carnival pageant in Bellevue this weekend.
Yes,
Yes.
this weekend,
Mhm.
Saturday. Well, the Bellevue Development Committee presents its third annual Miss Mass in the View pageant on Saturday, August 3rd from 7 p.m. at the Bellevue Combined School. We will be featuring 5 lovely young ladies from the southern part of the island, and they will be competing in 6 segments. You have the introduction, swimwear, talent, costume, interview, and your evening wear.
Right. And all of these segments are judged?
Yes, all of them.
Including the introduction.
Yes.
Oh wow! So right off the bat, as soon as you
Right
walk
off
on
the
that
bat.
stage, it's sell, 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 sell.
Yes.
Now, Anita, forgive me, I'm a little older. You seem quite young to be at the forefront of Mass in the View, Miss Mass in the View. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How did you get involved in Miss Mass in the View?
I am currently the president of the Bellevue Development Committee. This is my second year. I started off with I joined the committee after our Journée Creole back about 3 years ago. Yeah, so I started off, and then it was fun and interesting, and then Mr. Elva motivated me to actually become president of this group. So then I went ahead, took up the initiative, and here I am today. I am also currently the St. Lucia's Youth of the Year.
Awesome. So you're doing, there's a little something going on there. Have you ever participated in Miss Mass in the View, or no, that's not your thing? You're
No.
more a background
Yeah,
girl.
organizer,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, just like me, I'm more a background person. Although one year I decided, you know what, I'm going to try pageantry, and let me tell you something. It is hard work.
It
If you
is
think
hard work.
backstage work is hard, being in front of an audience is even harder. You even forget simple little things like smiling, which I did, completely forgot to smile. And one of the things that I always tell contestants when I judge or when I talk to young people who participate in pageantry is half of winning a a pageant happens off stage in your preparation, and you've got to prepare for everything. You've got to practice everything. You've got to practice smiling, you're walking, even things that you think are your strong area, your strong forte. You've got to keep practicing that, because that will fail you, because you're going to think, oh, I have enough time to do that. I'm strong in that, so I'm not going to practice. I'm going to work on my weak points, and then your weak points become your strong points, and you forget to hone and to baby and to groom your strong points. So you said that the contestants come from various parts of the South. What are the communities we're looking at?
We're looking at La Paix, that's a small inner part of Bellevue, Bellevue itself. We have Deriso, Opico, and Labrie.
Awesome. So Labrie in the house. Now you know Labrie has a big set of shoes to fill, because you know Labrie's contestant at the
Yes.
National Queen pageant, won the whole shebang. And so everybody's expecting everything good to come out of Labrie. Labrie placed second in the steel pan in the panorama, and has been doing pretty well during Carnival this year. So we're expecting good things out of our Labrie contestant. So great. So how has preparation been going on so far?
Preparation has been a rough but worthy journey. We had different sessions with the young ladies, with persons like Miss Lovely St. Amy, Miss Alicia, And then the girls have formed that bond that I really wanted them to form, and everybody is friends and chill. It's been fun,
Are they
but
really friends? I always ask that
I
question
believe they
because
are.
persons always say that, oh, we're friends. And
I
then
believe
on
they
the night
are.
when the queen is
It's
crowned,
crowned, it's
you see
something
people,
else.
"Oh, why is not me? Why is her?" And poor sportsmanship sometimes come to the fore. I can understand. You know, you're disappointed. You put your all into it, but are they really friends?
I believe they are. They're all
Yeah.
around the same age.
Mhm.
They're quite young, fresh off secondary school.
What is the age
so,
range?
about 4 of them are 16.
Oh, pretty young.
Yes, pretty young.
Wow.
Straight out of secondary school, and I feel like they are true friends.
Great. So I know I promised that my preamble is going to be short. It ran the full length of time. So we're going to go for a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have two of those lovely young ladies on the couch and we'll find out a little bit more about them. Stay tuned.
You'll get over heartache. You'll get over heartache. You'll get over.
Welcome back, St. Lucian. On my couch, I have two of the lovely contestants for Miss Mass in the View coming up this Saturday. And I will start with the lady that I know, Miss Pritej Modest. Hi, Pritej. And young lady, your name is?
Adelia Lionel.
Adelia, I like that name. It's almost like my niece's name. Her name is Adelcia, but yeah, that's for
Oh,
another show.
thanks.
Yeah. Pratej, Adelia, tell us about yourself. Let's start with you, Pratej.
Good night, St. Lucia. 16-year-old Pretend Modest, Miss Alabori. I recently graduated from the Binfield Comprehensive Secondary School. My hobbies are music, listening to music, watching movies. Not really movies, but more things like documentary. But yeah, that's basically it.
Now, I know Pratej because earlier this year, Pratej participated in Miss Independence in Labrie, and you placed second runner up. And Pratej, I love Pratej. I actually judged. I was one of the judges at that show, and I love Pratej because she was very sassy. Pratej, what can we expect at Miss View in the South, Mass in the View? My God, Miss Mass in the View. Now you guys have to change that because old people like me, that's a tongue twister. Miss Mass in the View. What can we expect of Pratej?
Expect that I'm going to put on a spectacular show that night, especially in evening wear. I'm looking forward in evening wear, swimwear, and of course, yes, and also costume.
Great. So all of the things that's really going to show off your physique, that's what you look forward to. And let me just tell you, Pratej has a pretty darn good physique, and so she's going to play up her assets. What about your areas? Oh, and by the way, I made a faux pas, a bullet earlier on. I said strong forte. Let me tell you something. My viewers, boy, they pull me up on that. You can't really say strong forte. It's like saying strong. Yeah, because your forte is your strong point, right? So forgive me for that. So what about your areas that you're not so strong in? How are you working towards?
Well, in the interview segment, oh my God, so you have to speak from your heart. You have to try and put things in the best grammatical order. I have Keisha Wenya and my chaperone Gabrielle Pope helping me with that, and also Stacy. I don't know her last name.
Chico?
Stacy from Labrie.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So these are all phenomenal women. I mean, you have the queen, the reigning queen, helping you out with that, and her sister, who's a phenomenal model. So she's going to help you with your walk and all of that. Yeah. And you have Stacy, who's a fantastic orator as well. So working with you on your weak points. Awesome, great. Adelia, what about you? What can we expect? Tell us a little bit about you first. Introduce yourself, where you're from, who is Adelia, and then tell us a little bit about your strong points.
I am Adelia Lionel, 17-year-old. I recently graduated from the Binfield Comprehensive Secondary School, where I did sciences, but of course then I had a change of mind about the sciences. I am really bold. I'm always jovial. You cannot once see me without a smile on my face alone. I'm always happy. And expect a lot from me. Well, I believe that I'll bring a lot in the pageant because I really put my mind to this. Because usually I wouldn't be able to come here, even though they don't really have anybody looking. But I wouldn't be able to come here and do an interview or be on stage in front of probably 100 or 500 people, and I really put my mind to it, so I believe I'll do my best.
Is this your first pageant?
Yes, it is my first pageant.
Your first, but Pratej, this is your second?
Second.
Awesome. So you have a little advantage on her there, but then not to be overconfident because you know on the day the person, and I said earlier, 50% of preparation is done before, but the other 50% is execution of everything that you've learned, of everything that you've practiced. What can we expect you to bring that is going to be wow? What are your areas, your strong points, your strong areas?
Costume. That's my favorite part.
Right.
And intro, that's where the judges get the first view of you, so you have to bring a strong first impression and evening wear, because I like to look elegant. I'm a classy girl.
Right, you're a classy girl. Yes. But you mentioned your introduction, that's speaking as well. So I take it that you feel confident with
Yes,
your,
I do.
so you might do well in your interview as well if you're looking forward
Yes.
to that. Awesome. You guys went to the same school?
That's
Yes.
my best friend.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Talk about rivalry. I hope you guys remain best friends afterwards, because let me tell you something.
We will, for
Competition can really bring out some ferociousness amongst friends,
Well,
but I hope it remains that
honestly-
way.
Honestly, I have like, when it comes to competition, I take it really serious. But then at the end of the day, I don't think I'll put a friendship at risk for a competition.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Same with you,
Yes,
Pritesh?
and also I'd like to encourage other young girls like us. Don't be afraid to go up against your best friend, because she's your best friend and you're going up for the same competition. You can help each other. You can bring out each other, boost each other confidence, because you're already so close, know everything about
comfortable.
each other. So it puts both of you all at a greater.
Advantage.
Yes.
Awesome. So there's going to be no acrimony afterwards, and,
Not
and
at all.
wouldn't it be wonderful if the two of you placed like first and second? I'm just saying, we have three
It
other
would be
girls.
great.
Queen and first runner
That's
up.
what we're going for.
Oh, awesome. Nice all around. We're going to take a quick break because we're going to switch over and have two more of the young ladies come on and introduce themselves and tell us what they are expecting to bring at Miss Mass in the View. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Lucian. On couch, we have two more lovely ladies in the persons of Gildra Octave and Nival August. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Gildra, introduce yourself to St. Lucia.
Good evening, everyone. I am Gildra Octave, representing OPICO. I am 16 years old. I recently graduated from the Viewport Comprehensive School. I love to sing. I love to dance. I'm very artistic. Yes.
Wow. I love to sing, I love to dance, I'm very artistic. Lots and lots of drama at Miss Mass in the View. I'm telling you, if you're not in Bellevue this weekend, you're in it. You hear what she said? She loves to sing, she loves to dance. And it's not just she loves to sing, she loves to dance. It's the way she puts it, you know. Very coy, but very secure and very sure, very confident in herself. So I'm going to say that your strong point would be your talent.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So what else can we expect from Gildra?
The costume. I'm really excited for the costume and the swimwear.
Wow. Now all of them love to, flaunt what God gave them, and all of the natural beauty that they're blessed with. So awesome. So we're looking for great costumes and we're looking for bodacious bodies in these swimsuits. What about you, Nival? And they have such unique names too, Nival Auguste, very regal. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I am Nival Auguste, Miss Deriso. I am 16 years old and recently graduated from the Viewport Comprehensive Secondary School. I enjoy reading, dancing to some extent, and watching movies.
Now you notice how she said that, dancing to some extent. So don't tell me my talent is going to be dancing because we have a real dancer next door. So she's playing it a little bit, a little bit undercover. Don't think you're going to put me in but awesome. You guys graduated from the same school. Were you
Yes.
guys in the same class?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought there was another situation of best friends, besties, again going up against each other. So what did you study at school, Naval?
Business.
And you, Gildra?
The technical stream.
So you're a technical person. I thought you would have been in the arts.
I mixed it.
Oh, you mix it a bit. Awesome. Nice. We like mix up. Oh, and by the way, what a mix up. That came from Grace or Bellevue.
Bellevue.
Bellevue. Awesome. So we can expect great entertainment on Saturday. Yes. So tell us a little bit about your strengths, Nival.
I believe that I will really bring it in the interview segment as well as the swimwear. I'm really looking forward to swimwear and evening wear.
So tell us a little bit, because I think you're the first one who has really said interview. That's intimidating for a lot of young people.
It is.
Why do you think interview is going to be your strong point?
I think it is going to be my strong point because I'm really prepared for it, but at the same time, I just believe that if I speak from my heart and listen to the question to understand instead of listening to reply, I should really bring out the right answers.
And I think that's very important. I like the fact that you said that because a lot of the times we listen with an ear to respond, not with an ear to understand. And if we understand what is being asked of us, which is why I think English and math, but mainly English, is such an important subject and it's compulsory at school, is because if you have a good command of the English language, which is this is what we speak mainly in St. Lucia, if you have a good command of the English language, then you understand the context. So asking a question is not just about a string of words put together, but the context in which the question is asked. And if you can understand that, then you can really give, like you said, an organic answer from your heart and give the answer that is asked, the question that is being asked, and not what you think is being asked, right?
Indeed.
What about you?
My strongest point, I believe, is the talent section because I'm really artistic. I'm into drama, into all of these things because I find it like uplifts me the most. Like that's where I can actually speak properly. I'm not so fond of the interview section, but I know that through movement I speak properly.
Right. Awesome. I like that. And I think that's so important. I think that's one of the things that our education system really is not tapping into. I think a lot of the times we focus in a lot on academics, but we don't understand that through the arts, we can get students who are not typically, what is the way I think I'm using the right word? This is not their forte. It's not, the academia is not where they shine. But if you put them in art. So if you put them in drama or in dance, they can give you exactly what you're looking for, that another student can give in written word. They can give that to you. So it's very good to hear that you say that. What can we expect from you guys on Saturday?
Well, I have been working really hard for each segment of the show, so I believe that I will do a fantastic job.
Awesome, great, great. And Silisha, you notice that they're very well spoken. So I guess the chaperones are doing something very well. And it's kudos as well, I guess, to the education system in a way, because they're recent graduates of comprehensive schools in Viewfort. So kudos to them that they've done something really well and that they speak well and they're speaking from their heart. And they're pretty young. 16?
Yes.
16. So good stuff. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll have back with us Miss Anita. God, I hope I got the name right. And one more, the fifth and final contestant. See you on the other side of the break. St. Lucia, thank you for staying tuned and coming back with us on What's Happening Now with Laura. And with us in studio are the contestants of Miss Mass in the View. And we have on our couch right now Miss Katrine Donnelly. Katrine, welcome.
Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, tell us a little bit about Katrine. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you representing? All of that good stuff.
Okay. Well, I am Katrine Donnelly. I am 19 years old. I am a recent graduate of the Viewford Comprehensive Secondary School A-Level Department. At the school, I did tourism, entrepreneurship, management of business, Caribbean studies, and communication studies.
Wow, that's a lot and varied, widely varied, but I can see how all of them can tie in nicely.
Yes.
But you're a little bit older than the other girls. Everybody else is 16
Yes.
and you're 19. So is that an advantage or a disadvantage? What do you think?
Well, I cannot say it is because you never underestimate your opponent because you do not know what they bring to the table.
Because you know these girls are very secretive, yeah?
Exactly.
I'm a dancer, but not too much. I'm very nice in dancing, very artistic. They all have their little secret arsenals in there, you know. They're giving you a little teaser, but they're not letting everything out. So you're very right not to underestimate your opponent at all. But what about Katrine? What does Katrine bring to the table? What are your forte? What is your forte, rather?
Well, I love dramatizing, and this is one of my strong points. I am also very good at public speaking, and thanks to Kendall, I am much better at it now. And I believe I'm a vivacious and energetic person, and I will bring that to the table on that day.
Is that your first pageant?
No, it is not.
How many pageants have you participated in?
I've participated in 3 pageants, and this is my 4th pageant.
Wow. And how was that? So finally we got somebody who's really, I mean, Pritesh did one other, but we have somewhat of a seasoned pageant person. So how has your other experiences been compared to this one?
Well, my other experiences were great. I met wonderful women. I've experienced what they brought to the table. I've seen it with my own eyes. And most times you'll think like, I'm better than that person. And on the day, it's totally different. What you think is your strongest point, and that person might do that as well. And they take the award for that segment, but you thought you were stronger at it. So basically, it's just doing your best, being confident, and regardless of whoever brings whatever to the table, you just try to overcome it.
Okay. So what are the pageants that you participated in?
I've participated in La Jeunesse Creole, which is the very first Creole pageant in Bellevue. VFCSS Jeunesse Creole, Miss Volunteer South, and this is the Massin.
Wow.
Yes.
So you've done a lot of different types. I mean, well, you did then the Jeunesse Creole. So I assume that you're bilingual in our context, that you're very good with the Creole language and English. Don't tell me no, because you did 2 Jeunesse Creole pageants, one in Bellevue and one at school. Oh, don't you want to say?
I'm not so good with the Creole.
And that's the other thing I noticed. We do all of these pageants in Creole or in homage to our Creole heritage, but we give the contestants the option of presenting in English. So it's kind of a misnomer for me. I really don't really like those ones where, you know, you do an homage to your heritage, but then you speak in English. So it wasn't like that. Was it like that for you in your?
No.
Oh, you had to speak it
In Creole, everything in Creole.
And how was that for you? Because I would die. I would wither, and I would be like.
Well, it wasn't difficult because I'm a fast learner, and my chaperone changed things on the day, and I had to adapt, and I did it.
Great, awesome. You want to tell us how you placed in those?
Well, I won both of the Creole titles.
Wow.
And I didn't place for the voluntary pageant, unfortunately, but I still believe that I am a winner regardless of my position.
And that is the key takeaway from competition. You may not, there's always going to be somebody better. And like you said, you may have thought that this was your strongest point, and then somebody came who is stronger or best encapsulated what the judges were looking for. And that's important, what the judges are looking for, because all of these competitions have a criteria that the judges are following. And sometimes you think, okay, I've got it down pat, but the judges are looking for specificity and you did not bring it in the quantities or in the dosage that they're looking for. So you have to accept that and move on to the next. So hopefully you conquer in this one. Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. Back to you, Anita. What else can we expect when we come out to Mass in the View, Miss Mass in the View pageant?
The pageant kind of begins our whole Mass in the View for 2019 because next weekend, that's the 10th and the 11th, we have our Jouvert Paint and Powder edition at the court, Bellevue
Tell me
Multipurpose
about
Court.
what paint and powder.
Paint, powder, fets.
I will not be at this one. I will not be at this one because you see, I'm rocking my natural hair.
I am as well.
That is you, my girl. I'm certain you've had this for a long, long, long time.
No, 3 years.
I'm just 1 year into it and I'm just getting used to it. And anything good that gets in there, no, Laura does not do well with that because that means Laura has to wash her hair and then comb that hair out. And yeah, no, sensitivity galore, not happening. So I specifically schedule when I have to wash my hair and how I'm going to comb my hair, and it's a whole day's affair. So Laura will not be doing paint and powder. I am so sorry. Before we continue this conversation with you, Anita, I want to ask Katrina a specific question. I'm getting a little older, but I'm very observant on certain things. I notice your ears are not pierced. Is that a religious thing, or is that just I just couldn't be bothered with that, getting my ears pierced?
It's not a religious thing. It's just that my ears are very sensitive. I pierced it once, but I started to have sores all behind, so I blocked it, and I never wore it again.
Okay, great. I was just asking because I've never had a pageant contestant who is maybe Seventh-day Adventist or Church of God or one of those denominations that don't promote jewelry and earrings and that kind of thing. So I thought it was a little interesting. Let's see how that goes. I think a few years ago we had a Seventh-day Adventist as our minister for culture, and that was like the biggest thing, as if it was she had committed a sin or a crime or whatever. So I was just curious about that. So that's just my little take on the no earrings thing. So yeah, so we can expect to get paint and powder, which Laura will be out of.
And then that's on the 10th, Feb the 10th, about 10 p.m. on the Bellevue Multipurpose Court. It's quite reasonable, $20. And then we have our line jump at the 11th from 2 p.m. We gather at the Gap, yes. So it's an interesting concept behind the whole line jump and bringing everybody together and having good, clean fun on the road.
Right. So what about the jump up? Is that what the jump up is
Yes,
all?
the
line
line
jam?
jump,
Oh,
yes.
so it's not like a real jump up, like national.
No, it's a t-shirt band, t-shirt only kind of.
So how many bands are there? Or is it just the
It's
one?
just the committee.
Oh,
yes.
okay. So you don't really have bands like
No.
like some of the others.
No.
It's just the one committee and
yeah.
everybody jumps up.
Yes.
How is that? I mean, it differentiates you from the other community carnivals. But has there ever been a call for more bands, that persons want to do something a little bit different? They want to express their creativity a little bit differently from just a t-shirt?
Well, some persons want to, but most revelers don't. They prefer their t-shirts.
Right. And what is the atmosphere like when you're doing? I've never been to Mass in the View, and which is bad because Kendall is going to kill me because I get invited every year. But I'm not really a jumper person, so I've never really been. So what is the experience and the atmosphere like?
It is an amazing experience. You have to experience it for yourself to actually understand the vibe, the hype. Because Bellevue is a community that sticks together. So everybody having that emotion and that vibe, that build up. Because we're also celebrating our Vietnamese boys on their achievements, because that's how they started last year. With our
I really love that song. Oh Lord, what a mix up. I love it.
That's-
The first time I heard it, I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
I really like that.
That's how it came about from last year at our Lime Jam. They released a few songs. That was which one? What's it called? Wine and Spin and I cannot remember the name.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, Magic with yourself. You don't
Ah,
magic with
that's
yourself.
another good one. I
Yes.
really like that one, and I think that really took the country by
Yes,
storm.
it took
I mean,
it by
everybody talks about
storm.
that. Do the magic yourself. I mean, up to this day, like people still say, and I think it's something. I think what is unique about that song and unique about Vietnamese and Boys is that they're taking reality, things that you say every day. Like for instance, do the magic yourself. Like I used to say that all the time. Like people say that all the time, but when you put it in a song, now when you say that, it's like it has like a different twist. It has a real gravitas. It has a real lucianness to it. So that's awesome.
Yes,
that they're
that's-
differentiating themselves like that. Same as the Bellevue community is doing, differentiating yourselves from the usual community jump up. And one of the things I wanted to ask you is, like the national carnival celebrations has just ended, and there was a huge hue and cry about the salaciousness and the, all of that. Can we expect some of that to pervade Bellevue, or have you not had that kind of issue at the Bellevue carnival celebrations?
We have not had that kind of issue at the carnival, to be honest. It's usually most persons would be in their shorts and their t-shirts. Nothing too wild, but we do have
Good,
some
clean
good
fun.
Yes, good clean
Okay,
fun on
because
the road.
I was called a prude for saying a few things about the carnival, and so I will not be attending any salacious. The next thing people say, "Oh, she's a hypocrite. Look at where she is," But I kid you, I kid you. Great. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll have all the ladies back on, and then you can feel free to call. The number will be on screen, 451-9788, or you can send us your WhatsApp messages on 284-6536. Or you can send us your emails at laurajacquet@gmail.com when all the ladies are here, and so you can send them your well wishes, criticisms, positive. And if you're going to give any negative criticisms, please couch it in such a way that there is a takeaway from it and not just bashing. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Lucia. And in studio, we have all 5 of our lovely contestants with the coordinator, Miss Anita Felix. And this is the last time that you're going to get to see all of them together in this segment. And the lines are open. The number to call is 451-9788, or you can send us your WhatsApp messages on 284-6536, or your emails at laurajeppy@gmail.com. This is the segment where you can get to interface, give them a ring, whether you're calling to support, whether you're calling to criticize positively, or if it's negative, no bashing, let us get a takeaway from it and interface. Ask questions about Mass in the View. So, welcome back, ladies.
Thank you.
You're right. So, the big days on Saturday. How excited? What is going through your mind right now, Pritesh?
I just can't wait.
You're very prepared.
I guess so.
She guesses, so that means she's not so confident because she's thinking that the other girls are bringing something and she's not so sure about it. What about you, Katrine? I'm trying to remember the names without looking. Katrine.
Although it's surprising to say that, but I want to get this over and done with.
Is it been that grueling? The preparation is very...
I know.
Because you guys are supposed to be on summer vacation. You guys have just graduated.
Exactly.
Oh, and you're not really enjoying the summer yet.
I know.
And then school will be starting soon, and you might be going back to school.
Work.
Yeah, right. So you're job hunting right now. Yeah, because you just graduated from post-sec, right? So you're job hunting, and so you might get a job immediately after, and you haven't had a chance to rest. But guess what? Sad to say, this is preparation for the real world. Because in the real world, you have to go 12 months before you get vacation. And sometimes you will get on a project, and then there's the next project, and the next project. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. So guess what? This is a great training ground for when you get out there, you can see, you know what? I can work under pressure. Yeah? What about you, Gildra? Gildra?
Yes.
Great.
I am ready to bring it on, honestly.
You know what? I think I want to come out to Miss Mass in the View simply to see what you're going to bring with your artsy self. Honestly, every time you talk, it's like, oh, you make me feel like I need to be there and I need to be on the front, front row, seeing what you're going to bring.
You should.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. To the talent segment where you're concerned. I know where Pritesh knows what I'm looking for where she's concerned for Sassy Self. But with you, I think I want to focus and I want to rein in on the talent and see what I think there's something in there that St. Lucia needs to be prepared for. What about you, Naval?
I believe that I am looking forward for the day, but it's all coming so fast that after the day, what will happen?
Right. And I was expecting to hear somebody say that because it's like Christmas, right? Yeah. There's all this hype and this, oh my gosh, Christmas is coming, all this preparation. And then on the 26th, you wake up and you're like, Christmas is over. It's over. Then what next? Then another 12 months before it happens, right? So it's like preparation. It's like, oh my gosh, all of this preparation. And then Saturday comes and Sunday morning you wake up and like, oh my God, it's over. Yeah. Except, of course, if you're the queen and you're like, I'm the queen, I'm the queen. So what about you, Adelia? What are you expecting?
Well, like Katrin said, pressure and nerves, but I'm going to do my best and I'm going to bring everything that I've got.
Right. Nerves is not necessarily a bad thing. I think if you're going into a competition or anything like that and you're not nervous, I think something is totally wrong because anything can happen. And then when the results come out and does not reflect what you think it should, trust me, I mean, the emotion can come crashing in because it's like you were so confident and then it did not translate. So a little bit of nerves is good, yeah, but do not allow it to overwhelm you, right? What is your advice, Anita, for the girls?
I'm just advising everybody to have fun on the night. I know it's a lot of pressure, a lot of work, but have fun on the night. To remain friends and just do your best. I know you guys worked really hard. I am very proud. And on the night, I expect great things.
Now, all of you, especially you, Katrine, this is your fourth pageant. Pritesh, this is your second pageant. I'm not sure if you guys are. I'm not sure. I can't remember what the age requirement is for the national competition. But do any of you have aspirations to grace the national stage?
Yes, me.
Oh, Miss Nerves and Miss. Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, I've always been interested in pageantry. I just love it. And I always wanted to go up for the National Queen Show, so hopefully soon you'll see me on TV.
Awesome. Not just on TV, but really bringing it home for Bellevue because Bellevue is so proud. We have a call online? Do we have a call online?
I'm sorry, we are not able to answer.
Okay, so we lost the call. Adelia, do you want to do that? So is there any plans to groom one of your ladies, whether it's past contestants or this current crop, to go up for the national competition?
Yes, we really want. Well, last year our reigning queen, I really want her to actually pursue nationals, and I'm ready to push
Work
her
with
towards
her.
that.
Yeah. So
Yes.
she won last year, and she didn't. Why didn't she participate this year?
School-wise,
So
yes.
she was still at school, secondary school.
No, she was done with A level, and then she had to travel for school purposes.
Okay.
but
We have a
she'll be
call
back.
online. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Hi, good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
How are you, Laura?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. That's Keisha.
Hey, Keisha.
Hi. I would just like to wish all the ladies best of luck for the show coming on Saturday, especially Miss Pritesh Modest representing Lavery. I also know Katrine, we participated in the Miss Volunteer South pageant, so I'd like to wish her best of luck as well. And all the rest of the ladies.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Keisha, for calling. And Keisha was the one who put together Miss Independent pageant in Library, and let me tell you, I could not believe the level, the quality of that show. And also, Keisha, I think, won Miss Volunteer that you write in the South. So
Yes,
awesome. And her sister Wenya is the reigning queen. So if they're working with you guys, that's like a powerhouse right there. Working together to get you guys prepared, and that's awesome. Thank you so much, Keisha, for your help with and this is not the first time you're helping Bellevue. I think last year you were a chaperone as well.
Yes, definitely. I chaperoned Linella Shattery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And-
she came
and she-
second runner.
Right.
Second runner.
Right. Awesome. So let's see what magic Keisha can work this year. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Keisha, for
I'm a
calling.
bit last minute on the train because I had so many pageants and stuff, working with, but hopefully we're able to work some magic around this time again.
Wonderful. I like that. And it's always nice when, former contestants give back. So it's not just about them, it's about giving back as well. Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Keisha.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the experience, ladies.
Right, and I love that, and I think Keisha is one of those persons. She's very humble. I mean, Keisha has one of the stature where she's she's really tall. You wouldn't tell, but we actually related. I know she's very tall, where we're the opposite of each other. But but she's one of those persons who's very grounded, same as the sister Wenya. They're very, very grounded, coming from very humble backgrounds and not allowing that to really keep them back, and really very positive young ladies, aspiring, but remaining very grounded and very humble. What has that experience been for y'all? I know people can tend to think this pageantry is very glamorous, but it's not really all that glamorous, is it? What would you advise, especially Katrine, because this is your fourth pageant and you're older, what would you advise a young person who wants to enter pageantry, especially the younger ones?
Okay. Well, a lot of people believe that pageantry is all about beauty, but it's not just beauty. It's all about intelligence, the bravery to come up in front of a crowd and to display your talents, answer questions. Sometimes they make a mockery of you. You have to accept criticisms and all other stuff. So I advised the youngsters who may want to pursue pageantry that it is something that is fun. and it can boost your self-esteem, your confidence, and it tends to empower women.
Right now, we talked about, and you guys are pretty young. I mean, most of you are 16. I mean, with the exception of you, Katrine, you're 19, so you're a little bit older and maybe a little bit more grounded. There's been a lot of negative talk about young people in pageantry, and the persons look at it as exploitation. How young do you think is young to enter a pageant? And what amount of grooming needs to take place? Because I know we have a situation in St. Lucia where we have a lot of self-esteem issues with our young women. Anita, maybe you can answer that, or any of the ladies, if you want to weigh in on that as well. How young is young enough to enter pageant, and does the outcome really support all the maybe the exploitation or the mockery, as Katrine put it, that may result as a result of?
For me, I believe that, okay, if somebody is really into pageantry, by the age of 13, 14, thereabouts, if you're really passionate about it, that you should actually try and experience one, whether between your school, church, community, because pageantry is not just, like Katrine mentioned, about the beauty, but it's for self-motivation, self-development. It gives young ladies the opportunity to showcase themselves, like find that inner talent that they possess. So for me, too young, I don't think there's anything like too young. It's just what kind of pageant are you going up for? It depends on whether it's like Creole or just a community to empower about a certain topic, or even nationals at the age of 18 is really fine.
But what about the swimsuit? Because a lot of people are a little shy about that. I noticed you have a group of young ladies who's not afraid of their bodies. Like mostly everybody look for. Do you guys provide your own swimsuit, or is it a generic one type of swimsuit that everybody has to tweak and make their own, or everybody's coming in with a different swimsuit?
What we do is we provide the material, and you are free to explore however you want to explore.
Right.
So we do not just tell you, oh, look at two-piece and you're supposed to wear it. No, you
Right,
have
because everybody's body structure
Yes.
is a little bit different, and you
Embrace-
want to work with what you have.
Yes. So each girl needs to embrace her flaws and then bring it in a way that, would wow the crowd. If you know your body type and what you can and cannot put on, I have encouraged everybody to look at their body type, look at what would fit you right, and actually make it look amazing.
Nice. What about you, ladies? What?
I believe the swimsuit segment, it's where it's like an avenue where it shows you how to embrace your body, because my body is much different to Adelia's body, to Nival's body, to Katrine's body. So wearing a swimsuit and having the what should I say, the brave, being brave enough to go in front of a crowd and doing all excessive poses, showing us your muscles, your booty if you have, your breasts, different parts of your body. Yes.
But in a tasteful way, because I think that's important. I think physique. I'm one of those. I would not be caught dead at a beach, much less on a stage in a swimsuit. Not even when I was 16 years old. That's just not my kind of bravery. That's just not my kind of courage. But I admire people who are able to do that, and they have the physique for it, and really highlight and strike these poses that embrace what you have that you can work with, but hide or accentuate in a positive manner those flaws that you spoke about, right? What about the other ladies? What else can you think about pageantry and young people, especially you said 13, 14, and I mean, I know parents would be a little bit queasy about having their 13-year-old wear a swimsuit where anybody from the public can just come in and ogle at your 13-year-old daughter in a swimsuit. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I don't believe there's a too young age for pageantry, because pageantry can bring you really far. It can boost your confidence, especially for young ladies, because they have flaws. Some don't think they're pretty enough. And pageantry is honestly not about whether you're pretty enough. It's what you can bring on the night. So I honestly believe anybody can take part in pageantry, and it will bring you really far.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Well, I believe for the swimsuit section, that it's a like a window for them to show themselves, like boost up their confidence, show that they're not afraid of what skin they're in, and that they will be able to do what they want to if they want to continue with pageantry.
I like the fact that you said to show themselves, because we have a lot of issues of image shaming or body shaming. You know, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you have too much booty, you have too much boobs, you're too this, you're too that. What do you guys think about body shaming? Like when people do that kind of thing, how does that affect you? How somebody's having a little sinus issue? What do you think about the body shaming and the image, the body bullying that goes on?
I think people shouldn't shame others because of those things, because some people have really low self-esteem, and if you're brave and bold enough to stand up on a stage, for heaven's sake, in front of everybody half naked, then that's something you should be commended for, because you're embracing your flaws. So I believe people should boost people who do that, not in an indecent manner, but in pageantry. Yes, I believe.
How would you encourage somebody who feels body shamed? One of the things, and we spoke to Keisha called earlier, and one of the things that Keisha is a very positive minded person. She doesn't want to be surrounded by negativity, and she's always embracing, and she has a fantastic body. I always say that. I mean, talk about muscles where they're supposed to be, talk about flat where you're supposed to be, talk about all of those things. But one of the things she has is she like a herniated belly button, and I mean, I never think about that, but she had this whole campaign on Facebook one time where she was talking about the things, embracing your body and all of the different things that you like or don't like, so your flaws, and she pointed to her flaw, which was a herniated belly button, and at that time I was like, okay, because I have a hole. And I always think like it's a hole. It's like a deep hole. Like what the? And then here she is with a herniated belly button, and she's embracing it and accepting it. And some people try to hide that. What do you guys think about that? Like,
Well, when I just entered secondary school, Form 1, Binfield Comprehensive, there were before Compre students at my school in Bruceville. And because y'all know, hairy, and I have a lot of eyebrows, and, you know, my hair was, yeah, good quality, the older forms were bullying me, and every time I passed by, they'd call me eyebrows or hairy and things. At first, I used to be ashamed of it because it used to happen so constantly. Like every time I get out of my classroom, somebody calling me eyebrows or hairy or something. But now here I am, I'm on TV, my arms are not shaved, I'm going for pageants.
there you go.
I'm embracing it. So the pageants have taught me to accept myself for who I am.
Awesome. I love this, Pritesh, because just like you, if you can see, I'm very hairy myself, and I used to shave it. I used to wax it off. It's not a bushy hair. It's just that I just like the flawless. I used to try to imitate my mom, and I always tell her that it's her genes that gave me those hairy arms, but she did not inherit the hairy arms. So I used to try to imitate her and have the hairless look, despite the fact that my arms, they're hairy, but they're not like the bushy kind of hairy. But I was never bullied for it. It's just a preference for me that I liked the hairless look. And now it's just a pain to keep it shaved, to keep it clean. So it's like, what the heck? You're hairy, but it's not you. You don't have a problem with it. Why are you doing that? There could be somebody else that you could be helping by embracing those hairy arms. Right now, Pritesh, you talked about your bushy eyebrows, that people were teasing you. But do you know that now we're putting all of these paint and everything to get the thick eyebrows? So Harry's exactly that flaw that everybody was teasing you about, and you have it naturally. It's like my niece. She has really out of control eyebrows, but when she shapes it, it's like, damn, where did you get that? And it gives a whole new dimension to her face. So thank you for bringing that out and for stressing that, embracing your flaws and embracing who you are. I got there were a couple of boys in the upper forms when I was in secondary school who tried to bully me. This girl ain't playing with that. We don't do bullying. We don't take that. We don't do bullying. And I set them straight. But I have that personality where I can speak about it. But there are others who succumb to that. And unfortunately, we have teenagers with suicidal ideations because of bullying. What would be, if your platform would be anti-bullying, what would you say to those teenagers who have suicidal ideations? Any one of you?
I would personally tell teenagers, don't listen to others who bully you because you don't know what they're getting from home. Sometimes it's because of what's happening from home. They're using that you as a way to express all their feelings. So I don't think you should take that into, I don't think you should listen to what they're saying and just follow your heart.
You were saying, Gildra?
Yes. I was saying they should consult somebody they feel comfortable with, like a counselor or some authority. Just make them feel like they have somebody to vent to, so they don't feel so trapped at the end of the day.
I like that. Like both of you have really good answers because you need, but first for you, they need to have that self-confidence already, that self-awareness of whatever, that ain't working. Like me, I had that. And it was not, the bullying was because of the name of a cousin of mine who was in the upper form. So his name was Ching. His name was actually Chen, but they called him Ching. And so because we're cousins, you don't call me Ching Chong Cheng. And I'm like, what's up with that? And it used to really bug me. And then I just started saying, when I pass by, I'd be like, hey, how's it going? And just be, hey, your tongue, and be stupid. And then, it stopped. Come to find out that one of the boys who was the serious bully liked me, but he did not know how to speak to me, to articulate that. And then it was my turn to be like, what? You like me? Whatever. Yeah. So you kind of have to have that confidence. But with you, what you said, Gildra, is also very true. A lot of the times, you don't have it within yourself, so you have to find it within somebody else. For instance, I remember while I was school, and by the way, some of y'all went to my alma mater, Viva Comprehensive Secondary School. Hey, yes, that's my alma mater. And I remember being an upper form student, and there was this first year student that was being bullied. I didn't know the child. I was just like, what? You can't do that. That's just not right. And so I stood up for her. And when I was graduating, she was in second year by that time, and she came up to me and she just hugged me and said, I'm going to miss you. I'm like, who are you? Why will you miss me? I'm in Form 5. Damn it, you're in Form 2. You're the junior person, and I'm the senior person. And she said, you don't remember me? I'm like, no. And she said, you stood up for me. And that is what it is. It's like not standing up just because this person is your friend or because you know this person, but standing up and doing the right thing regardless of whether that person, you know the person or not. Because you never know whose lives you're touching. And I remember meeting up with that student years later, and she still remembered me. And could you believe it? I still did not remember her, but she remembered me because I stood up for her. And she said, "Remember?" And then when she reminded me, I was like, "Yeah, I remember the incident." Now, if I saw her today, I would still not remember who she is because for me, it was not about the person. It was how would I feel if somebody was doing that to me and I didn't have a voice. So I like the fact that you guys are well-rounded in that. You have a good understanding and appreciation for that kind of thing, because what you're doing is so vitally important. So you could be touching the lives of somebody that you don't even know just by looking at, wow, she really skinny. Like, Adelia, you're really skinny. I'm sorry. You're so small. I am so jealous. No, I'm saying it's not a bad thing. I'm jealous because, I'm rounder. And then there could be these other young ladies who look, I'm so skinny, I want to be more bodacious. And then they're seeing you and they're like, hey, but she's embracing being skinny. And there are other persons who might be a little bit thicker and they're like, you have more junk in the trunk. And they're like, hey, but I have a lot of junk in my trunk. And she's doing this and she's working it and it's not a problem for her. Like if I had a lot of junk in my trunk, I'd be very self-conscious. Let me just tell you, because I am not about that lifestyle. But there are some people, when I look at them, I'm like, wow, they really command that and they really own that. So you never know who you're touching. It could be a younger person. It could be an older person. You just never know. So we're running out of time, but my takeaway for you guys on the day is to bring it. Work what you have. Flaunt it. in a decent manner, because you never know who's watching, and tomorrow you are going to be the employees and your employers could be watching. So always be tasteful, but always represent and always try to be positive. So we're out of time. Anita, final words from you.
I encourage St. Lucia to come support the lovely five ladies at our Miss Mass in the View pageant on Saturday, August 3rd from 7 p.m. at the Bellevue Combined School. Tickets are only $25, and you will have a great show and a great experience because these girls have really been working hard, and I'm very proud of them.
I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday because I know you'll bring it. Every single one of you. I've seen something in every single one of you that I would like to see how you're going to work. Honestly, there's something in every single one of you that I would like to see how you're going to tap into that. If you have recognized that, which I see, and I love to do these things. I recognize things and I want to see they recognize it in themselves and how they bring it to the fore. And to see, I can't tell. I have no idea from having interviewed you guys who a forerunner would be. And that's always a good thing. The suspense, the mystery is always a good thing. Bring it. Congratulations to all of you. You're all winners. And just bring it on the day. And regardless of whomever is crowned queen, you are all queens in your own right. St. Lucia, this is where we leave it. Mass in the View this weekend. Miss Mass in the View is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. If you're not there, you have only yourself to blame. Be there or be square. Until next week, adieu.